founder, the Tao transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the third destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and beauty, Siddhartha, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the shackles of man, I prostrate, make offerings, and work directly. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the third destroyer, the complete perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Siddhartha, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the shackle clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and offer refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the third destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Siddhartha, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the shackle clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and work refuge. When her supreme amongst humans who were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you, all wise then, I prostrate, with pure bodies, forms that make me pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With supreme eyes, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit, qualities like a vast ocean. To you, the one God to thusness, I prostrate. The virtue that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime reality, to the Tao that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the supreme Buddha, homage to the Tao refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 every devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bound with bodies as many as all realms, atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. To page 15 for the Heart of Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya triple gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagavan was dwelling on Massafolta's mountain in Manchuria, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration of catching the phenomena called without perfection. Also at that time, the bodhisattva looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty and inherent nature. Then, through the power of Buddha, the venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara. How should a disciple of the restraint who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this. Correctly and distinctly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness. Without characteristic, unproduced, unseized, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly, completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice a profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoiced. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadvaiputta, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. To page 25 for the short mandala. Sashi Poge Jushi Medota Vira Liji Nindi Gembadi Sanje Chindi Midi Uwaji Droku Namda Shimla Chopa Sho Jetsalama Damba Kinanki Choku Kala Kete Chichune Jetara Sambe Duje Zimala Sake Chuki Chapa Patu So Idam Guru Rana Mendana Kamni Yatayami Chodan Saji Chanmama Chanchu Padu Tani Chapsuchi Targe Jin Kipe Sanamji Chola Penche Sanje Drupa Sho Sanje Chodan Saji Chanmama Chanchu Padu Tani Chapsuchi Targe Jin Kipe Sanamji Chola Penche Sanje Drupa Sho Sanje Chodan Saji Chanmama Chanchu Padu Tani Chapsuchi Targe Jin Kipe Sanamji Chola Penche Sanje Drupa Sho Kanadu Zeni Save Dao Taje Pavish Tambejene de Leve Godam de la Jade Dunyin Jesune Javel Chijes de Gonjen de Nego Jana Bema de Jadon Zo de Zojen de Nusho Bandin de la Maramash Taki Juro Pende de Jana Gade Mergone Jesandi Gozondo Jumodo Do So Ai, 다음 그놈 음식이라 토다니는 저니스다. 제일 당모 동매 그놈다 담망어디 계속 무지고 디제는 가서 다다 dombadendi 유그론제 다 두두게 티제데 템바디야시데 dombade야 산제셔서 살숨 된 것도 yes 저 그론제게 체디 dom바데 된 거야 그래서 제일 된다 이 먼저 디 면함 제거도 하잖아 니 겨워서셔야 된 거면은 제 토다니는 저니 스타디 뒤준 공자디 공마자고는 그런제 네 공자 튠샤가로야 뭐지나 니 겨워 럽침 겨워 답침부 차는 거래서 겨워 가량 사와디 다 가지고 답침부 사도에 배전치오디 겨워 럽침부 답침부 참마자서 다 그런라라래게 요래서 당고데 니와디 뭐라라래게 요래서
Tiendu Kulon de Netirin Zindania de Raniji with Lamayamba. And Rosim Jishin Lapamba Bashik to Yashi do any Chutuba. Sabako Machi, Sabakon and Kulon. Tindaji. It is some dangos round.
So first, motivation, as it is said, there are two activities, one in the beginning and one at the end. And with regards to Dharma, so the activity in the beginning is motivation, and at the end is dedication, so that the prayers that we just did were so that we firstly motivate, and secondly, that we recall the qualities of what we're doing. So, for example, refuge. And then at the end of the practice, one dedicates the roots of merit to that end of the great enlightenment. And if one does this, one creates what are called waves of deeds, or vast stores of positive potential or merit. So therefore, those two things, so that the virtues of any action we do are vast, are the motivation and dedication. Here, motivation is that you will listen to this teaching, not just for you, but to benefit all sentient beings. One will hear and reflect on this teaching. Please motivate.
Oh, yeah, that was Kawa Kumra. Lamrim Gihini, Shine go to Gichomati. Kawasangwa
We should now rejoice that we have the opportunity to hear the stages of the path to enlightenment with regards to calm abiding within that. Fortunate.
아야 다 먼저 기진 안에 심 미벌 때에 뭔지 치다 쳐서야디 야 안에 단다 우다기 예방하고 뒤지게세 예방하나 예방 당보디 레로 예바스나 다 껴로 먼저와 곰겨디 오늘 디셰사르 디기 니모 치디 셰스 마셔 다디네 당고 갈라버스나네 심 미벌 아떼 페나 다시 미벌 조주 칸데레스야 다 트링 페이지 니바디 진마토 샤나르와
Mm-hmm. So we left off looking at a quotation from the separation from the middle, separating the middle from the extremes, where it says that one accomplishes calm abiding by applying the 8 trainings or 8 antidotes to prevent or get rid of the 5 faults. So the first of those 5 faults or obstacles to accomplishing shamatha was laziness. And we went through the 4 countermeasures to that. Now comes to the actual how to focus the mind on the object of meditation, the next stage.
다 당봉 먼저 빼샤요라 빼디하고 신나야고 먼저 셈데 먼저 빼나 따라고 짐버셔라 셈데 따임버셔라
Yeah.
따따디 네 따고라 앞에 푸바접 짜라고 툭적부 푸버를 잡제 딜라 따고라디 다서디 미버셔라 따디 따니디 에네 템바 당연로 디제 숨지긴 배드는 데려가 지래 간다 먼저 따디 심체라 따 가스고로 주로라 kel 타바 잡스나 템바데라 따디 배 미버 자 따오라다 배 부버 잡지라 작부 싱들 따오라 싱데 미버다 당연도디 따다세 미버디 무슨 거야다 미버 심 칸나 줘배 미버사데 미버 무슨 와지 어디다
Kisla Singh said.
작부여라 작부 푸바 따그 타고 다서지도 작부도 작부
Jabgu
푸바
Puma.
하고서
Hook Marawa.
훅 때는 데 당한다서 빵갈라와 빵갈라네 따따그라
Yeah.
안델라 싱데 겹부다마 어디 싱지마 겹부다 안델라 따따그라 어딜라 푸발라고 푸바 그래서 라나 다리라
Axis in a tari.
푸바 훅 슬람네 디기지레 훅사디 알론데라 디안
Yeah, yeah.
디다 마레
Ale, because Pinata Yayun joined the Jugsa Dimari.
켈라 타고 제그라 마르마 타고 제그라
Yeah, Takpadi
타고 딜 다그라데
Ale, oh.
어디 가래
Ale,
시마 제우다 푸바 세간
pig.
네
Yeah, tying the rope, yeah, to the pig or the post. Post, pegi, a bit of shingdura.
머리
Yeah. So then the analogy of how to focus the mind can be given with respect to the way we would tie or tether a horse or tie a horse to a post. So let's say our mind is likened to the horse, which is untamed, and then the rope that we tether it with or tie it with is mindfulness. And then the post itself is our focal object.
다음서 디 미바디 최고로
Yeah.
니월라 네 인데게 셈네 미바라 되베 치두치다던 셈 칸나 쪽에 미바 시 미바 원송아 당스 엔델라 셈치다 두두스 디즈니 르고도라
Yeah.
남는 질문은
So then there is, identifying the object of meditation upon which your mind is set, and then how to focus the mind on it.
다 당보디 라야 디즈니 셈 칸나 쪽에 미바 원송아 될라야 아니 미바 찌기 남샤 셔와다 컵스페 미바 원송아 지지게 신에게 미바 찌기 대저 직신나야 고요 되경도 신에게 다 미바 찌 최탐제리 지지 라데다 디 지잠 셰게로다 마데스 ting sabro do de migba chidi khare chidang migba khare ane kaps pawa
Allow.
khare de ni chen
Okay.
da
So then the first of these, to identify the focal object or the object of meditation upon which you set your mind, there are two divisions of that. There's a general presentation of objects of meditation, and then there are identifying objects for particular context. So generally we talk about calm abiding kind of in a general way. So the general focus is all phenomena, but when we go deeper, there are particular objects we need to know. So it's good to go deeper, more thorough.
da de la ne migba chi nam sha de la ne de zen sum che ne migba ngwe den ba da khansa khan la migba chawa den ba da ne migba nam dan den ba se da thang bo migba den ba de chom den de ge do na ne ma da khande khande sum do so de she
So then within this first subdivision of a general presentation of the objects of meditation, again, there are three subsections. The objects of meditation themselves, who should meditate on which objects, and what are synonyms for that object of meditation. This is coming from Sutra, Lord Buddha stated.
migba chi de la migba shi yore chawe migba se ro chom den de ye nam da chom den de ye nen jo we migba la shi sung de se de da chawe migba da jawa namba jo we migba da kewe migba da nyomo namba jo we migba se je ne migba de la ya da de zen shi chom den de do na lo ngun sung sha de re se ro
Buddha directly taught from Sutra that there were four objects of meditation themselves. The first of those being universal objects of meditation. Secondly, objects of meditation for purifying your behavior. Thirdly, objects of meditation for becoming expert or adept. And fourth, objects of meditation for purifying the afflictions, four different types.
다 다른 드링한도 차베 미고디 시에나라 차장마 시에모지 차베 미고디라
So tonight we'll just look at the first set. The first set are these generic or universal objects of meditation.
나 차베 미고디라야 아니 다 미고스데 다 미고셔데 심 데사데 시기었다가
Yeah.
데라야 차베 미고셔야 데라다 지난게 캡스드다 최탐제라 캡스드 베 디셰용 거로 딱갑디 양디 캡스야 돼 딱고 베나 데려야 디자인 싫어 치네 넘버 또거든 제베 숭니에서 넘버 또거든 제베 숭니에서 당고 캡어들 시에 나게 넘버 또거든 제베 숭니에서 시용도
So remember we're talking about the focal object or reference point upon which we place our minds. And so the first of these are four types: discursive images, non-discursive images, limits of existence, and achievement of your own purpose.
다 베나 당보디 넘버 또거든 제베 숭니에서 라인데 넘버 또거든 제베 숭니에서 다 베나 가란서 신의 공유데 어느 미과지 당고에서 베나 당고 먼저 하게 꾸러오지 봐. 내가 좀 된데 꾸시 미과지 하시라. 좀 된데 꾸 미과지나 넘버 또거스데 당고 먼저 미기다 좀 된데 꾸디제로 꾸디제 빠르제 꾸단제 근데 내가 미 좀네 네 셈난지 샤르도
Yeah.
어디르다 셈난라 샤려야 되다 숭니에서 넘버 또거드제 숭니라데 남도기 똑베기 숭니에서야 돼 빼나가서 데려와서 멜로나라 셰고나나 동텐조데 동기 숭니에와 동원에데 말와 제가 단다 신에게 나 차베미베게 네 당고데 아니 셈게 나라 샤된조데 네가는 셈샤고로 페 나고에서 그 통해 될 셈샤야 말아 신에게 미과지 치기 소샤야 말아 나 셈게 숭니샤된조데 대강나 셈샤지 되고 여러 어디 시고 넘버 또거드 제 숭니스다 신의 미과 되래다 데 아니 최 탐제 강라야다 캡 두고 여다 간다 넘버 또거드 제 숭니스야 돼 아주 나와샤 두고 여베나 먼저 퍼버러지나 담보 퍼버 미기 따라 퍼미야 보다 미 좀도 셈나지 샤양 거다 어디다 데라 셈샤지 돼 당고다 가서 도마좀된데 굴미 아니 데 심나래 샤라 데스도 어디 미과디 넘버 도바디 집에 송년세데 신에게 생기 미과 어디래다 당고 디시나 무슨은 디겨다.
Firstly, recognizing the universal objects of meditation that are, for example, we focus on a statue or an image of Buddha, and having looked at it, we gain an image of it in our mind, and we focus on that mental image as our reference point. Here, one is not focusing on the outer or looking at the outer image of the statue, but rather the image one has of it in one's inner mind, very much like when you look at the reflection of your face in the mirror. The reflection of the face in the mirror is not the face. In a sense, that's what you're looking at when you look from your mind's point of view at this image of a Buddha statue. So it's also the same with, we can do the same with all other types of phenomena, whatever phenomena we choose. So for example, looking at this cup, we look at the cup, then we close our eyes, and then we have an image of that cup that we're focusing on mentally. We're not looking at it with our sensory organs, and it's the same we do with a statue of Buddha.
지산다 디 말아도 단당 안한도 내 당보기 먼저 지 야고레세라 도자레세로 마가기도 세 가금도 세 상황아도 남도 그 숭니디라 따제 딜러 도데기 요레서 먼저
Right.
정말 대건 도데기 요르잖아.
Yeah, so as beginners, we are always conceptualizing or discriminating like that, I don't like that. So we are totally at the behest of these mental constructs.
다 게임이 치료게 다코와 로아 계저된데 코와 한 류그 남주된데 통와 안 딩자이나 내주 산주다만다 통와 아니 밀어동에요 통와 아다도 그치 겐로와 되게 겐디 수수 셈나네 다디 레샤 디 마레샤 타제는데 아니 세윤데 셈나라다 동에서야다 교회원야다 정말 다 어디 왜 정말 남도 승리가나 도주도 되게 있네 나 언제 승리디 때문에 냐두고 말 축즈냐 lö샤고래 lö샤고래더라.
Right. So the way it functions for us is that we hear sound or we see someone show us a bodily posture, or we hear something on the news and we see suffering on the news, whatever, and these outer conditions are, these outer things we see or perceive are a condition for our inner mind to think, oh, it is like that, it is not like that. And so, that's the way we kind of flit between these conditions with our mental constructs, but we are doing it in a non-stable manner. Yes.
어디 남도단 제베 송이세 다 남바도 뭐 매베 송이세 라이브데 네 단다데 팍바단 산제기 주기 띵인진 지여봐
Yeah.
저저 미과도서 아니 먼저 똑바 튼지다 되고 거야 말봐 띵인진 미과 되랬다.
Now that is, with an image of a conceptual thought, but, and, being devoid or having concentration that is devoid of that mental image or generic image or conceptual thought. That is, the Arya beings, they can be in meditative equipoise single-pointedly without those generic images.
당고부 타세야디 동반일래 배제 동반일 코거라.
누부타.
뭐 타세 동반일 코이 배제 동 최탐제를 켜봐 샤고라 딩이스.
누부타. Leon. Somebody. Then there is, so that is with, these are listed as, the first one was discursive meditating on an image that's discursive, that's with conceptual thought. And that second one we mentioned is non-discursive image. And this third one is called limits of existence. That's page 35 if you're following the book. So that would be, just, this is the nature of things. So emptiness, all phenomena fit in this one. Mm-hmm. Right, so it's called the limits of existence because if you search for a phenomena under analysis, you can't find it. So that's the limits of its existence.
Goba yons druba sayade ta sanje gi tingin jing de mi kwa de shagro goba yons sanje la goba yons druba de ra.
Yeah, and then there are this fourth object, which is achievement of your purpose, which could be, for example, the image of a Buddha.
Ta dije de cheju shi de ane chu du na ta de la migji ji ko ne ro. Tanda de yu mi dang ko ne shara. Ta migji lo jing lo ngo ne chu migji jing ne. Migji ji ko ne sha yon de sungye ni re sungye sung da che da sungye. De la migji ji ko ne sha ko ne sungye ni de tangbo ne hang dong ji mi gwa yin las. Ni wa ne shine ji mi gwa o se o de song da.
Okay, so then within that, lastly, there are two types of images. They can be posited in terms of the observer, the person doing the concentration. One of them is insight, and the second one is the object of meditative serenity.
Ta de la sungye so da sungye se de sungye ni kala mi be mi gwa la rang zen ba te ngwe min ba wa de ta rang zen ba ngwe min ba. Zo pe na tombe ku mi na tombe ku ngwe rang zen de min ba che. Te namba lo la na wa was de na te namba de lo la na de je ro. Sungye se de o de da. Ta shine gi mi gwa ngune de wa de komji de kan ko ngo da komsa de kan ko ngo ro.
Gisla yangyo la tare.
Sungye se de sungye ni kala mi be mi gwa rang zen ba de ngwe min la min bar su da.
Bodi lakdong be.
학동 단 신의 미과데 셋자로 신한다 데 숭예세데 숭예세 텔 학동게 미과다 신의 니제데 제니제로 아니 숭예래 숭예데 카레라 비운데 칸라 미베 미과 랑젠바데 ngwe 멤버스 데 넘버로 나와드레 소데 송다 숭예세데 신의 미과데 ngone 데레다
Okay, so this point is saying that when you carry out your single-pointed concentration, what you're observing is the image of either of these discursive or non-discursive. So be it that of insight or serenity.
어디시기로 제가 네다 베나단다 신에게 아니 미과 샤연데 아니 덴데게 셈나나 따디 베나 따디 제일 리그레 가서는 미과 체주다 미된 체주 미된 이베체 세도조다 제일 말레 우리 이나당을 럽제 신에게 미과 슬라비언데 덴데 숭니데 당고 숭니라데 하고서 신에 따디 신에 미과 간데 찾는 차고서는 따디라 단당한서 축스축스면시 내두고요 말아봐. 네 유링링링링 된제 네 텔라 내자서든 당보 내자서야 대 직심배 내야게 무슨 야디 개침보레스 당보 가르스나다디 베나 덤베구로 덤베구야 공연데 당보 미 직제로 아니 미좀 맞은데 셈나라 직차다 젠다 외다 된데 세워마시나 직 여와지 나와지 무슨 직 낙보지나 되그래 직 무슨 톱지 총나 당보 어딘데 직득이 어래서 다 데라 아니 데라 내야라야 네 배전체 네버야야야야 두비가 탑신 체운데 장가라 아시네 두비가 탑시로 와 시네기 미가 다 신의 신이 상어들 신의 신의 톱는 메시는 거 말인데 단다 디 신의 미고 차기요라고 쌤 템포 속이요라 어디 차는 시기요다.
In terms of calm abiding, then it will go through later the different stages of setting the mind and the signs of having accomplished it. But basically, it means to be able to set or place the mind on the mental image you have chosen single pointedly. So, let's say you choose as your reference object or focal object the statue of Buddha. Now, although it will have certain qualifications and features to it, such as limbs and so forth, and colors. In terms of the image that you're initially working with, you might only work with, for example, the shape or the color. And first, you just place your attention on that general image of the shape or color. And as your setting or concentration increases, it becomes clearer and clearer.
어다 디 지난단다 디나라 어디 셰용도 다데네 단당한도 디 데스 디셰 제르자도 가서 네 넘버 똑바든 제베 남도단 제베 송이 세제로 어디 셰기도 다 저탄도 남도기 요치 아니 남도기 심기 나왜 똑베 나왜 몰라 샤라치 데디 요데 아니 딜레야다 남도단 제베 송이 세디
Yeah, so this is talking about when you're taking your reference object along with, together with discursion, with a type of discursive thought.
다 제단 딜라 미바 딜라 미제 미제바 심조베체 조제기 똑바 매바세자 제단 똑바 매바 거네네 디 미바 딜라 미제 똑바 매베 거네네 미군디 미야가 넘버 딜라네 넘버 미도베 송니스타기 넘버 매베 송니사데.
Right. But when you stabilize your mind without an analysis while observing an object, the image is said to be non-discursive since analytical thinking is absent.
그래서 인지민지연 남도 매베 송니사데 파바단 산제지고레 고면도 남도 그 마주베체로 고 따제 마체베체 남도 매베 내걸 아니 심베네 된 요저라 심가 믹바송 된 요저라
Yeah.
어딜라 남도 매베 송니스 시지 타녀식레스.
Yeah, so we can, placing the mind or setting the mind single pointedly on the object doesn't have to be for just Buddhas or Arya beings. Trainees can do that, free of analytical thought, without discursion as well.
자다다 나나도 디균 단다 우중우데 또브레 템버러지 차양 거로 우트 당기도 우파 당기도 시행용도 장걸라 먼저 우 땅에 제기 깨직이버도 시행용 거라면서 깨직 당고도 우 깨직 당고 먼저 무슨 투고 요 말다로 녀다 무슨 로고 낭잠 우데 낭잠진에 아니 라도 요래다 우 템버 우 베나 먼저 당한다 우당기 요 상고데 가나서 우 다다워디 카둑데다 카둑 다가라는 신기요 튕겨들래 우디 아니 마상은 따요나 먼저 간디 우당아 우수 당기 요사데 우케직 당고 바 직외다 템바들에 템바 우템베 템바래 오늘전에디 따다 차송한데 그러
Younger.
먼저 그 우중 검제라 검자인데 하나서 상나다 마탄다 우당기 요 거랑은에디 시기요 튕겨라
Yeah.
이나 먼저 관심에 그데 템바잠지래면서 우디
가사리.
나잠지네 가사래 깨지 당보디 가사다 템바래 템바 세상데 네 템바 인자 아니 그 디야 때문에 템바 때문에 도고라 우중원 된 템바 때문에 우중원 된의 시내로야 탐람디 레당볼라다 약셔래 더라.
So for example, when we're breathing and we're counting the cycles of breath, when when the first inhalation has ceased, it's already ceased, but you've counted 1. So what's functioning here is the mindfulness that is aware of the cycle, and that recall that you're using of the cycle of the breath becomes stable until you achieve the karma biting.
Adiol Jevanam Pibanga Jim Jimmy Volma live till Tandala Mohishiro. Tadine ni Mija Yugone Shawarwa. Nivadi. The walk did Jelma Ligrit in the Javanam Journey Mibanga, the Kevin Mibangas Jil Tandala Mohosh, Mangulana Transit Chatura. The Mija Yugone Shay and do that under the Move Talading and Dongmanila Move Tasjazwa. Yandi Kunzuble Move Tasha Yutinjo. Tandamle Yutinjo Jesa. Mija Yugone Shawaning over tie in this. Move Tasa the somebody and Mija Yugone Shawat in the Yores. Kanasana. Dizam the Sage, Dile Sheme do Shivadi, and a Chinive Mubeta Kunzula Javinaya. That day, dear Esriva, Pena Kejima Midawa, Keji Jibati Midawar is. Then Midawa Telelos Yomare said, Kunzula de Namutasha 90 year. Wanzo Midawala Minea, Home Jabchogura, Midawa de Chechogura. Also Midawa Tamadine, Suzuki Musum to go Mara, and it got Tunjusi you talk over in there. And Keji Jigwatagara, and Midawa is, Tele Tashi, your Mares lady, and we will talk Kunzola TV and we will talk again. She nag me what on the rest of him.
Kunzola TV, Gobata.
The Chiniva Sundua. Chiniva said, Kunzob. This am the Sagi, Dile Shemedo, Shivani, Chiniva and over Tasunda water. Mija Yugone Shawan and over time in the Sunda.
Ngobuta di Jela, wa? Ngobuta di Jela?
Correta. Mubeta Nidoa.
Yeah.
Ne Chiniva over Tadans. Ticonatar ne, Shende Minnesota, Chideva Mubeta Nijazon, De Jela, de Nichnewa Pumunga, Dujetam Jeta, come to Ticandedo.
Yeah. So the Nelok, the Mata Dosam do Dinang Singawadi.
Martase de la Neludan, Kunzop de Niga Tangi Tunil Shena de Lelobdoa.
Yeah.
That the Chinival shading a Peshazon. Geji what the Midaware, Tele Shimbe, Midaware Tunshin, Yomare said, Midaware Tare, Tele Lago, Tele Geji, Jiwa Tele How Midaware Tunya, or this sugar.
Okay, so in terms of, if you reference point limits of existence, previously we said just this is all there is nothing more. And that was with regards to the nature of phenomena lacking intrinsic existence, meaning its ultimate nature. But then you can also do a similar meditation with conventional phenomena, where, let's take, for example, impermanence. And you know that impermanence, by definition, is that things are disintegrating moment by moment. So you would say this alone is how things exist. They do not exist in any other way. That's all you could do, because that is the limit of impermanence, except unless you realize subtle impermanence, which we wouldn't at our level.
Maranzo Pana Kovade, Maranzo Dungedi, Guladine Chumoramishi, Gulamadin, Dungi, Yomare said, touch away, Del Gomden Yodi, Movetalami, Gom Chaguyorta.
Okay, another limit of existence would be to meditate on the fact that the cycle of existence, or samsara, has causes, and that is the limit of that meditation.
Chazan the Midawala Mine Shinegomay, Legundela Mine Shinegomay, that's the Church Tamjela Mine Shinegomay.
Yeah, so one can cultivate the shamatha independence on For example, meditating on impermanence, meditating on the fact of behavioral cause and effect. All phenomena are included.
다 단다디 ngobatadi 다 디네 디 코나다 내지 있어라 다 동반이래 디 코나다 내지 딜레 내와 시메도서 시대에 ngobat하세 덴바드베 동바디 베나 이 셔러님 분은 수동바라서 수중오데 덴바드베 동바래 딜레 내지 딜레 시메네 나루타도 신지 요 말에 써야 돼 지도발라도 ngobat하다 내와데 레스타
And then, for example, meditating, this is all there is to know. There is nothing beyond this. So, for example, in the Heart Sutra, when we hear form is emptiness, well, you're meditating on the nature of form as it is. There is nothing other than a lack of intrinsic nature of form. No.
디네레다 ngobat하시 다 데뷔군에 샤과디 에네 하지단데 몽고시도 되지라 뭐시 데뷔군에 샤과디 고바 용스도 왔어요 고바 용스도 왔어요 데뷔군에 샤과레스 연결 되시 제거다 하디 샤단 가레스나 네 미과테다 송예라 시내다 한동에 미과 일을 채워야다 군도 댄스데다 그뒤 뒤에 yan데 곰 yan데 레 망보 곰 레망보 곰베 타들라네 라라니 냉인랜드 태워 냉인랜 세야디 제단다 산제지 고마 톱님에시 냉인랜드 태워디 연구하 말해 산제 고마 톱님에시 냉인랜드 태워서야디 톱구요 말다
The next comment is objects of meditation reference for your own purpose. So this is set forth in terms of the accomplishment in that you are not free of your dysfunctional tendencies until you attain Buddhahood. But the method for this is that with either serenity or insight, you direct your attention to those objects and stabilize them again and again. And by virtue of that repeated practice, you become free of afflictions.
제가 냉인랜라디 다 판단내가도 배나 류지 냉인래로 샤연데 아니 나 판단가도 두들 냉인래에 배나 미가시 추주간에 가서래 재무제야라슈 검대나로
Yeah.
재무제야슈 검대나 야 로첨부차네 아니 지 수고신다 그저자마잖아 라베 굴로 매베터네 재무제야 되는데 제용도로
Yeah.
그래서 류지 냉인래로 하고
So let's look at an example of physical dysfunctional tendencies. So as a youngster, if you're accustomed to playing a lot, when you're older, because of that habit, your limbs could move like that.
미가시 춘주간라 벤다 일로 춘주간라 비지전냐 시데라
Yeah.
아니 막 일로야 첨보샤네 굽자간라 마야고 대투문도 야야 마마도
Yeah.
어든도 두주다오래 냉을린라야도 두주다오래다
Yeah. So those tendencies are like some kids are just so busy all the time. And then even if you get older, you can't sit still, you're always fidgeting.
네, 다 나가 냉을린사데 네 계자다 고섭셰셰셰셰데 네 감담질라 수수신되면은 통용우다라 뭐도저래 아니 칙두자라야도 들어와 칙두자 비주치야도 망보 라비온데 제일 굴로면은 아니 베데 나 쇼르우다 나 냉일레 제가
And the dysfunctional tendencies of speech, for example, if you speak things with no meaning, like a lot of gossips, then because you have that tendency, or you say, for example, bad things, then it already slips out of the mouth before you know it.
근데 제가 아니 네 쿰시디 당연한서 된다 니나라 아니 지 겨와된데 변나 튼두된데 겨와망고 레임베나 텔레바베야 대 쿰실레도야 아니 책된데 밀이야 책 미치도 잖냐 제제대라 제메 다좀바차 뉴모 반사베이네 군로 매베터네 아 시기요다 이제 라메베터네 다좀벨레 냉일렌데 용구요라 제가 산제라 데 냉일렌데 다 방투구요라 바디 시기요 냉일렌데
Right, so then it's talking about the tendency to have these dysfunctions. So if you might have some tendencies that you've accrued because you've had so many births as an animal. And then in the case of arhats, for their successive habits that they've had as humans, they will carry with them in their mannerisms as arhats. So really what it's saying is these, in terms of the result, the dysfunctional tendencies are not abandoned until Buddhahood. No.
남바게 내가 나 계시지요 말이야. 내가 쉬어라다. 그래서 나게로 준다. 나게 시지요 말이 송도. 좀 된데 제단디 나게 담는데 셰디 미람상 코르고다 베로. 거기다가 비저 툭툭고다 저는 같이 계지셰라 상마담치 람상람상 셰셰도 아디셰나 틱틱지게 비저 상람상 툭툭고다. 제단도 Howard and around the society the sensitive share it on get it so much and lamsa to do that way right so there's name in said there's a tongue around the pendo be shibuda de dila ne dene sim ywa de shuk chungro do ya la pendo yara
So in order to make the mental discursion less, it is good to watch one's activities, for example, of speech. So that's why we say, in the context of Buddha Dharma, with the speech, it's not good to lie or say lots of gossips. Well, that's what Buddha Shakyamuni said, because if you speak things but you don't think about it before you speak it, it can be a condition upon which others get the wrong meaning or they hallucinate. So that can tend to happen. So in this life, it will benefit us if we are mindful of those doors, so as to reduce the effect it has on others. And then these days, people are so sensitive if things are said in a certain way.
아니 다 되는데 캡에 미고 써야지. 캡 전부도 와야 망고도.
Yeah, so just in this first of the 4 types of focal objects of meditation, this one we call universal, there's a lot in there, isn't there?
다데 나네 다 나도 뒤진 상담 예수도 가서는 신에게 미고들라. 아니 치기고 마인베 나심난 게 순이 샤딘 저디 임바도 하거나 다 자치 뭐 마시나 디시나 디요.
So even if you don't take all of that, just take the main point, is that the point of your focal object when you accomplishing karma abiding is not an outer form, it is your inner mental reference of it. Mental image, excuse me.
지난 디 순이라 디다 셈난 게 또베 찬난데로 와디 나라도 당 상마 또베 찬난디가나 도되게 요래 지난 디네 베 디진 찍간라 샤즈나 디 가서고 중만드나 네 셈 투야 돼 라로라라 endo shodo.
And the benefit of this is that because with us we are, we have these images of these mental constructs all the time. But if we were to choose one of those mental images and focus on it and be able to be stable with it, then that prevents the discursion that we're experiencing.
다딩고마 로숨주 공게 페드라라.
Yeah.
디단다 여 말어들이 이나가 단다디 여시샤.
There's in there, right? Yeah. It's strange, isn't it? Because our conception is at a very gross level. Like if I hear or see of Tibet, or hear of Tibet, I want to go there. I want to go and see Tibet. And I have this image in my mind of Tibet. Oh, Tibet is like that. But actually, I haven't seen Tibet for 30 years. So you're holding this image of it. It's very different to what it is.
Yes, yeah,
the image of Tibetan that I have in my mind doesn't exist. It's completely different to one's mental image.
디 따다한테 셴위나 니 미지게 찍찍 랍스 찍도데 니디 찍도 찍 라빈데도 카도들다 세마지 용거라라.
Yeah.
아니 제일 양자다 된제도 아데 당기 남죠. 계산 남죠. 둔당고마 남죠. 둔당고마 퉁죠. 내려와다. 오늘은 사자라다. 툭사라 상사자라.
And it is that if someone says something that upsets you and you could react to that. But in reality, if you look back, that was yesterday, that was a week ago, it's finished.
그래서 네 또변 송이에게 따다한테 내가 상놈 못당 도비나.
Yeah.
신의 마도위네 수수생 동에세라 편도 전부 다 알아.
Yeah. So really, if you really think about the appearances we have of things mentally, these mental constructs, even if, and work with it, even if you don't accomplish karma abiding, it can benefit the mind a lot and reduce the suffering.
가르스는 먼저 단다 심난게 동에 망고지 대베 내주 중된조데 심난라서 이제 아니 수수 삼마마지 차기도 알아. 니인데네 아 나데 생각 심난 샷데 단당에 디지릴라데 다 단다 심기 나와 좀 지레미시지 뭐 내주 가차라라. 아니 삼단데 아 다데 쳐 가르도 삼단데 아니 동에도 ranshūki shirōyā dīndi, mēwa chādōyā dīndi rōwa, simnāngā, mājiwa dī ranshūki bārōyā dīndi yōnggō rōwa.
Why is that? Because a lot of our suffering is due to the fact that we are clinging to something that happened in the past and the mind is upset. So you're getting this appearance of something that happened, but in reality, that's already gone. So,
야, 다 튀어 있는 튀어지, 튀어면은.
Sure. Any questions?
No question.
Otherwise, we stop now.
다디 둔다데 곰디오 또벤 신의 캬베 mikbasa 딘데지리 삼로데 스탄토이나. 근데 난디네마 신의 mikba 딘데지 시엔토이나 다베 야고요. 다디네마 망보 랍데나니 저런저 심나나 DM 요차.
Yeah. So it is good in the following week if we can just understand that we're looking at the focal objects that we use to accomplish karma abiding. And the first division we looked at were more like this universal set. And it is good for us to know very simply what the sets are, not to go into it too much. Otherwise, we'll get confused.
Oh yeah, that is so.
Page 31 for the short mandala.
Oshe tushe me totra Vira inji nide gemparati
Sangye shingyo
me to uwagi Chogunanda shingna chopasho
Jetsa lama kutse
Radeshi
Nam katrin le chokshu genpara Le sang tempe dron me sa sungji Drwe munzel taktun
Nejuchi
Idam
Guru Ratna Mandala Kamdiriyatayami.
Page 33, Prayers of Dedication. Due to the merit of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain state of Guru Buddha, and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the Supreme Jewel Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase more and more. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created, by paying homage, offering and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best, by the victorious one Saskama the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble bodhisattva's deeds. May the King of Dharma, Tsongkhapa's way of Dharma practice flourish. May the omens of obstacles be pacified, and all the conducive circumstances be complete. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Saviour of the Snowland teachings and transmigratory beings, who makes extremely clear the path that is the unification of emptiness and compassion. To the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. You who uphold the seduler's moral way, who serves the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjanath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honouring the three jewels, Saviour, myself and others your disciples, please live long. By relying on the true accumulations of myself and others in the three times, may the teachings of the